Cast on the stage.
I just wonder what your dreams are. Good afternoon. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Public Works and Finance meeting for August 27th. And we'll get started with our first action item, which is the approval of the minutes from August 13th, 2018.
They look all right to me.
Yeah, I'd move to approve them as presented.
Yes, and I feel the same, so they are approved. Our second item is 1105 and 1121 West A Street lot line addition. And
Adjustment.
adjustment. I was excited about Leah coming up because we got introduced to you last 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you all too.
Yeah.
So before you this evening, we have a lot line adjustment for 1105 and 1121 West A Street, which is where the University Village apartments lie. So here are the two subject properties, and they contain 2 of the 4 apartment complexes of the entire complex here. And here's the zoning. Both subject properties exist in the residential office zoning district with motor business surrounding it to the south and east side. So parcel B is currently 46,040 square feet, and parcel C is currently 9,777 square feet. And the proposal is to expand parcel C to 15,077 square feet and reduce parcel B to 40,740 square feet. Here's the site plan showing the access from West A Street, where there's an existing approach which will provide access to both parcels here. In residential office zoning district, the minimum lot width is 50 feet and the minimum lot area is 5,000 square feet, which both parcels will abide by. And so staff recommends approval of the lot line adjustment with no conditions. And with that, I'm open to any questions you might have. Yes.
Leah, can we go back a couple slides?
Certainly.
Again, there. If you look at that slide, there's a lot of parking, I'm assuming affiliated with parcel A and parcel B.
Correct.
Located on that. The letter of the applicant indicates that wants to expand it in order for future development opportunities.
Correct.
Is that surplus parking, or is it parking that was part of the original development of parcel A and parcel B and it's necessary to those parcels?
So parcel C is excess parking. All the parking requirement is provided by in these surrounding lots.
Appreciate that.
Yes,
And all these parcels have the same ownership?
correct.
Do you happen to know why they decided to have excess parking when they built it?
So this parcel C was purchased from Super 8 here, I believe it was in 2002, and they just purchased it in order to expand the parking just for the residents. But now because they have all the parking provided for, they're looking at, expanding development in the future. So.
Okay, thanks.
That's what I figured. Everybody seems to be making use of what they got right now.
Yep, exactly.
Definitely.
All right,
Do you have any other questions?
okay, great, thank you.
Good.
And then I guess we can just put this on consent agenda?
If that's your
Yeah.
direction, I will do
All
so.
right. All right, thanks,
Thank
Leah.
you.
Hi, item 3 is dog park grounds and drainage rehabilitation project. Hi, David.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, David.
Okay, Jim, go ahead.
Hi, David.
Well, good afternoon.
Normally you're at the table when I greet you, so that's why I was greeting you.
We finally broke him loose. It took 3 of us.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you. So this is the Dog Park Professional Engineering Services Agreement. We're requesting authorization to retain Hodge & Associates for the design services for this project at a cost of $6,985. Design services will include an evaluation of the area. One of the most important features of this service we're requesting is the surfacing. We're going to look for something economical but yet robust. We've got to get water off the dog park, so some drainage. There might be some grading involved with that. This project will include construction drawings and an estimate of construction costs coming up into our fiscal year 20 budgeting cycle. The dog park's located on White Avenue, if those not familiar. So we've got Mountain View. It's east of Mountain View along White Avenue. Here's a close-up of it here. Kind of a bigger one with Mountain View here, White Avenue here. It's about 1 acre in size, next to the Humane Society. So these are some pictures I took earlier, or last week, I guess. Over the years, I've had a lot of use on the park, continuing overuse. It's unrepairable, and as you can imagine, in the spring and the rainy seasons, it's just a mud pit. And so we really want to have somebody take a look at this to try to mitigate the muddy conditions. The budgetary line item is Parks and Recreation Professional Services for the project. And with that, we're recommending moving forward with Hodge & Associates for design services for the project at a cost of $6,985. Be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Has to do with, we always talk about there was extra soil that we were moving from one thing that was happening. I was wondering, can we ever take soil from other places and put it into projects like this?
Big picture question is yes, we do that. For example, we put some soil out at Atani Park that's coming up because we knew we'd probably need some fill in there. I don't know with the dog park if it's necessarily a fill issue. It's more of a surfacing, getting the water to drain through that surfacing and vacating the area, I think is the issues at the dog park.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to be grass? Is that what you're mean with the surfacing options?
I would say very likely not. It's really hard with that kind of use with dogs. I think everybody's seen a lot of dog parks where they try to keep turf under dogs, especially around entrance. It just gets denuded just with the use. So it's really hard to have turf and dogs in high use areas.
So what do you think the surface would be? Like a rubberized surface that would drain, or something you could rake smooth? Or
That's a good question. I'm envisioning some sort of surfacing. We're going to ask the consultant to come up with some good options for us, but there's all kinds of different options. They make some real high-end, almost artificial turf type stuff. The square footage price is astronomical. To pea gravel, that's been talked about, decomposed granite, might be bark. I think there's a lot of options out there, but we just need to figure out which options are best for that area, the dog's feet, what's all that good stuff.
Hopefully they will think about cleaning up. I think bark might be kind of tricky. I don't
Sure.
know, but I mean, should be a consideration.
One of the things we've talked about internally is having surfacing, but there's remnants of an old irrigation system when the turf was going, of being able to use that to flush the system out. So the surfacing would need water to go through it, flush the system type deal.
so used AstroTurf could work, like if the Kiwi Dome changed their resurfaced and that turf was available, something like that could work?
I don't know all the engineering behind it. The dog park turf I was talking about, it's got all kinds of subgrade stuff to it, so it was rather thick. I don't recall exactly what that looked like, but like I said, it was really expensive.
What about dog composting? Like, we have a dog poo composter in our yard where we've taken a big garbage can and cut the bottom out and dug a hole and stuck it in the ground, and then to get people to clean up. I know that that's always an issue at dog parks.
Sure.
I don't know how to even address that, but I know it's an issue, and I've been to this dog park enough times to know that that's a problem there.
Okay. I don't know how to answer that question specifically. I know we've got trash receptacles out there. There's dog bag dispensers. We ask the public to clean up after their pets. So.
And then have you thought about when you're taking the acreage and breaking it up into different size dog areas? Like, so what I've seen people do is their dog goes way out, and the poo problem is a real problem. So the dog goes way out, poo's way out there, and then the thing's all mucky, and so people don't walk out there to pick it up if they go close by. So maybe you could have different size areas for different size dogs.
It's something I hadn't considered with the 1 acre dog park, but it's something we can have the consultants look
I saw
at.
you shaking your head. I know. I'm just trying to figure it out. It's gross because it's a thing that is a real issue.
This is only 1 acre. It is really, really small. There's not much you can do with this other than try to make the surface so it's usable. There's not a lot of variations that you can do with what's there now. We're probably not going to have anything but likely decomposed granite because all the rest of them, all the other materials have issues that come with it. So we might as well just stick with what we have if we're not going to fix it. And so as far as making smaller parks out of this little tiny thing, it's too small for as just by itself to do that.
Right.
Eventually, I mean, we'll probably bring a proposal, who knows when, but for another piece of property that would be big enough to handle an actual dog park with variations that would handle different kinds of dogs, as well as or different size dogs, as well as runs and things like that. But at this point, all we're doing is we're trying to hire somebody with some expertise to tell us how to fix this thing so it's usable for the people that are using it now.
Because it is well used.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for that.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Do you have any other questions?
Nope.
Guess I would
Certainly needed.
recommend we authorize Larry Hodge to figure this out.
Yeah. And you want to put it on consent agenda?
That'll be fine, thank you.
Yeah. That's okay with you too?
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for hearing those questions. Thank you, Dwight. All right, item 4 then is the 3rd and Jackson sidewalk replacement bid results. Hi, Scott.
Good afternoon.
Scott?
So this project's been in the works since probably about fall of 2016. At that time, the property owners approached us with the sidewalk program, looking for a price on what it would take to remove and replace the deficient sidewalk around the property. This is at 129 West 3rd. It's the southeast corner of 3rd and Jackson, the Turnstone property there. So over time, this is kind of modified, and it's had additional players in on this one with adding additional amenities. Right now, the project itself includes a scope of changing out the lights to more of the historical style lights and putting in the concrete pavers, very similar to what we've done down on 6th and Jackson and College Street. So recently, we put this one out to bid to McCall's Classic, knowing that it was going to be a lower value project below $50,000. You really only have to solicit to one contractor, and we've been working with McCall's on this for a couple of years on different formats for it. So we asked a price for them on this one, and they came back with a price of $37,794.50, which was slightly higher than our engineer's estimate of $33,104. Mainly the difference was just for mobilization and traffic control. They had a little more money there, but the other bid items for concrete and the pavers and other things like that, that can sometimes overrun. They were actually less than what we had estimated. So they gave us pretty good prices on everything.
Well, it's certainly something that needs to be done, so it seems
Yeah.
like reasonable.
Yeah, and the way
In terms
this,
of the bids that we've been getting, this is pretty much close to the engineer's estimate, so.
yeah, and the cost
Okay.
sharing on this one too is of the $37,000, roughly $20,000 is being covered by the city. Then roughly $9,000 is being thrown in by the Moscow Urban Renewal Agency for the upgrade in the lighting and the concrete pavers. And then the property owner themselves pays for 70% of the concrete removal and replacement as part of the sidewalk program.
Yeah, thanks for that explanation. I wasn't sure what that number represented, that 9,046.
Yeah,
So that was good to know. Thank you.
And that was what percentage, Scott?
70%.
Okay, thank you.
So that any resident who wants to participate in that sidewalk program, they're responsible?
That's part of the downtown corridor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the actual sidewalk program itself, when we hold the sidewalk program, what a resident gets on just say like a normal residential home is the assistance from the city where we manage. The city ends up covering for the mobilization for the whole program itself, but for the most part, we take care of the permits, we do the scheduling. You get a lot better prices, with the quantity that we put out there. And this will be also a phased project too, in the sense that this is the first part of it. The second part is to replace the pedestrian ramp. Next summer, we'll use an ITD curb ramp improvement money. So we'll actually be replacing the curb ramp and building a little bulb out area to fix that over there too. So this will just be the first part of it.
Yeah, I'm sure that the person requesting this is very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I see this as a consent agenda unless
I agree.
you see otherwise.
I just have one more question, because I'm not quite, just at a glance, how is the 9,070%?
Of the removal of the sidewalk,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
not of the
All right.
Removal and
construction cost.
replacement.
Right.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Scott. All right, with that, there are no further items on the agenda. Do we have a report?
No reports. I do have an introduction, though. We have our new Assistant Finance Director, Renee Tack,
Hi.
starting with us today, so I want to introduce her to the committee.
Well, hi, welcome. All right,
And with that, I have nothing further.
all right, then,
To adjourn.
all right, we'll be adjourned. Thank you.